All right, so Dr. Randall, I have a 16-month-year-old male here to present to you today. This is a little boy who I think he came in 2 days ago now, and initially had he was having some breathing issues, and I think mom said something about vomiting like an avocado at the same time, but ever since it's been kind of funky. I'm a little bit discoordinated today because I had a tie on, but he kind of was grabbing it today, so I took it off. I'm feeling a little bit naked. Sorry. So, but anyway, so he's been here overnight. Definitely. So mom's still tachypnic, like super tachypnic. Heart rate's like really tachycardic. People gave a little bit of fluid. A couple days ago, they got like a chest X-ray, and we'd planned to, kind of trend those over a couple of days and see what was going to come, and that really hasn't shown us a whole lot. And so, our plan really going forward was just to kind of, back when he, was born, he was born a little bit early. I think it was something like, 32 weeks. So he's had some wheezing episodes in the past, and I'm wondering if this is kind of a similar situation where he, got sick and has some wheezing. And I think mom also said in the family there's been some wheezing in other, siblings. So this isn't like one of those things that just kind of popped up. I think this is kind of one of those family things going on. So generally, I think we'll just kind of keep watching him today and see what happens.
Thanks, Ryan. Good morning, Mom, Dad, and Christopher. So I'm just going to be talking to Dr. Spots and you guys about kind of how things went overnight and our plan for today. So overnight, Christopher did well. As you know, he's our 16-month-old male here with respiratory distress, thought to be bronchiolitis. Overnight, there were really no acute events. He was playing with his brother and was noted to be acting a little bit more like his usual self for his parents. In terms of vital signs, his heart rate was 100 to 120. His respiratory rate was 45 to 52, so still a little bit tachypnic, and his saturations were between 90 and 95% in room air. His blood pressures were documented at 130s over 80s, but he was noted to be screaming every time they checked his blood pressure. For my exam earlier this morning, he was resting comfortably, still tachypnic, and his exam remained consistent with sort of diffuse crackles and wheezes that have been shifting over the course of a few hours. No focal wheezes or crackles. And then he was noted to have those mild to moderate subcostal retractions. The rest of his exam was stable. And we didn't obtain any extra labs or studies overnight. We just have that chest X-ray from admission that showed the diffuse streaky interstitial opacities. So overall, in assessment, I think Christopher's clinically stable and starting to improve. From a respiratory distress standpoint, his clinical picture has been consistent with bronchiolitis. So we'll continue to monitor him with periodic pulse ox checks and assess his need for additional oxygen. From an FENGI standpoint, because he still had decreased PO intake, he's still on IV fluids. So we'll continue to monitor his ins and outs, and if he picks up his PO intake today, we can consider going down on his IV fluids or potentially stopping them later today. So in terms of disposition, the things that are keeping him here in the hospital are still the slightly low oxygen saturations, and so we'll need to see him off of any additional IV fluids or oxygen for at least 12 hours before considering going home. What questions do you guys have?